The phone at the National Bank Open headquarters wouldn't stop ringing. Carl Hale, the tournament director, had just made a routine announcement. Alex Eala will be playing her opening match on Wednesday night. Within minutes, the ticket office was flooded. Within 30 minutes, every single seat on center court was gone. Hale stared at his screen in disbelief. He had seen big names come through this tournament before. He had watched Serena Williams sell out matches, seen the world's best pack the stands. But this was different. This was a 21-year-old ranked number 20 in the world, a player from a country that had never produced a tennis star. And she had just done what only Serena Williams had accomplished in the last 2 decades. We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect, Hale admitted. The Filipino fan army had descended upon Toronto, and they weren't just showing up. They were taking over. Toronto, Canada, August 2026. The National Bank Open, one of the most prestigious tournaments on the WTA Tour, had seen its share of legendary moments. But nothing could have prepared organizers for what happened when Alex Eala's opening match was announced. Carl Hale, the tournament director, had been monitoring ticket sales closely. He knew Eala was popular. He had seen the crowds at the DC Open, heard the chants of Eala that echoed through the stadium. But when he saw the numbers on his screen, he was stunned. The moment Eala's second-round appearance was confirmed, tickets vanished. Within 30 minutes of the announcement, every seat on center court was sold. The capacity was 10,077. The demand was so overwhelming that organizers were forced to move her match from the grandstand, which held just 2,800 seats, to the much larger center court. Our grandstand court is 2,800 seats. We can't put her on there because she probably sold upwards of 5,000 tickets, Hale told the Tennis Channel. The math was staggering. Eala, ranked number 20 in the world, had just achieved something that only Serena Williams had done in the last 2 decades, selling out a Wednesday night opening match at the tournament. The tennis world was left speechless. We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect, Hale said. But as he would soon discover, this was just the beginning. The Filipino community in Toronto is massive. According to estimates, the Greater Toronto Area is home to one of the world's largest Filipino diasporas. When Alex Eala's match was announced, they mobilized. Jason Maglante, the senior director of ticket sales and services at Tennis Canada, had been watching the Eala phenomenon for months. He is a Torontonian of Filipino descent, and he had seen firsthand how his community had embraced the young tennis star. When Eala played at the Australian Open in January, she was scheduled to compete on a small court that held a few hundred spectators, while thousands were left waiting outside, desperate to get in. That scene was now repeating itself in Toronto. Speaking to my family and friends in the community, people started asking me about her. Is she coming? Can I know a little bit more about her? Maglante recalled. And these are people who don't even follow tennis. The excitement was palpable. Filipino Canadians were not just buying tickets. They were organizing watch parties, sharing information on Facebook and other social channels, and preparing to pack the stadium. Maglante projected that 8 out of every 10 fans in the stands would be of Filipino heritage. The tournament organizers understood the significance. They reached out to Toronto's Filipino community groups and the consulate to promote the event. They even added a special Filipino dish to the food offerings, chicken adobo. The message was clear. Toronto was ready to welcome Alex Eala, and the Filipino fan army was ready to take over. The National Bank Open had never seen anything like it. The demand for Eala tickets was so extraordinary that the tournament went above and beyond to cater to her fans. Jason Maglante, who had been instrumental in planning the event, made sure the Filipino community felt welcome. He worked with the culinary team to add chicken adobo to the menu, a move that was both practical and symbolic. It was a gesture of respect, a recognition that Eala's fans were not just spectators, but a community that deserved to be celebrated. The atmosphere was electric. The evening session on Wednesday was scheduled to feature 2 matches. First, Leylah Fernandez, a Canadian of Filipino descent, would play Renata Zarazua. Then, Alex Eala would face Alycia Parks. It was a double-header that had the Filipino community buzzing. To have both of them play on the same night is incredible for the community, Maglante said. The tournament had become more than just a tennis event. It was a celebration of Filipino pride. And at the center of it all was a young woman from Quezon City who had captured the hearts of millions. Eala, for her part, was overwhelmed by the support. I've been told that it's going to be a full house tomorrow, so I'm really very excited to see and experience the atmosphere. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up and they're enjoying tennis, Eala said in her pre-tournament press conference. The comparison was inevitable. Maglante himself noted that the only comparable hype among Filipinos in the sports realm was boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. Eala was not just a tennis player. She was a national icon. The match against Alycia Parks was more than just a debut. It was a chance for redemption. The two players had met once before at the Australian Open in January 2026. Parks had won that match, coming back from a first-set demolition to defeat Eala 0-6, 6-3, 6-2. The loss had stung, but Eala was a different player now. She had just won her first WTA title, defeated a murderer's row of top players, and climbed to a career-high number 20 ranking. She was on a revenge tour, having avenged losses to the last 6 opponents who had previously beaten her. Now, Parks was in her sights. The crowd was firmly behind her. Tickets had sold out in 30 minutes, and every available seat on center court was filled with Filipino fans waving flags and chanting her name. The atmosphere was electric. Eala thrived on it. She had already proven that she could handle the pressure of a hostile crowd. Now she was about to experience the power of a supportive one. After the match, Parks had admitted it was difficult, mentioning that Eala definitely had a good crowd. This time, the crowd would be even louder. Eala had also partnered with tennis legend Venus Williams for doubles, a wild-card entry that added another layer of excitement to her Toronto campaign. But the singles match against Parks was personal, and the Filipino fan army was ready to help her get her revenge. The Eala effect was now a global phenomenon. It had started in Miami, where the crowds had swelled with Filipino fans eager to watch their new hero. It had grown in Australia, where thousands had been turned away from her matches. It had exploded at Wimbledon, where she had defeated the defending champion Iga Swiatek in the 3rd round. And now, in Toronto, it had reached a fever pitch. Carl Hale admitted that the response was unprecedented. All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it, he said. Andy Roddick, the former world number 1, had called it Eala-mania. Eala-mania is fun. When you have watch parties in arenas around your country for a 4th-round match. I'm in, he said. Roddick defended Eala against critics who claimed she was overhyped, declaring, "This is a movement she is single-handedly creating, a movement of a sect of tennis fandom that largely didn't exist a couple of years ago." Thank you. The phenomenon was a testament to Eala's impact on the sport. She had not only broken barriers for Philippine tennis, but she had also shown that the sport could grow beyond its traditional markets. Her fans were not just passive spectators. They were active participants, traveling across the globe to support her, filling stadiums, and creating an atmosphere that was unlike anything the sport had ever seen. Eala had become more than a tennis player. She was a symbol of hope, resilience, and national pride. From the streets of Quezon City to the packed stands of Toronto, Alex Eala has proven that champions aren't just defined by their titles. They're defined by the communities they inspire. The Filipino fan army has taken over the tennis world, and there is no stopping them now. Eala-mania is real, and it is only just beginning.